AI, Artificial Intelligence,
AI.
Kalian harus pelajarin AI dari sekarang.
AI, kecerdasan buatan atau Artificial Intelligence, AI di masa kini kian pesat. Kini AI terus dikembangkan untuk mendukung ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi termasuk di bidang pendidikan.
Komputer IBM Indonesia menyebut pentingnya peran teknologi AI dalam transformasi digital di Indonesia. Secara tegas, Presiden Direktur IBM Indonesia Roy Kosasih mengatakan manusia tidak akan digantikan oleh AI, namun dengan syarat sumber daya manusia dilatih untuk adopsi teknologi digital.
Teknologi AI ini juga mulai menggantikan beberapa pekerjaan manusia yang membuat perkembangan teknologi ini juga harus diperhatikan.
Kecerdasan buatan Artificial Intelligence atau AI adalah bidang ilmu komputer yang didesain untuk belajar dan berpikir seperti manusia. AI memiliki kemampuan mesin dan program untuk memproses informasi dan memperbaiki kinerja mereka seiring waktu. Dalam era digital, teknologi AI dapat membantu efisiensi dan produktivitas kerja di beragam sektor, termasuk manufaktur, perbankan, hingga kesehatan. Namun perkembangan pesat AI ditakutkan akan menjadi ancaman bagi pekerjaan manusia karena memiliki keunggulan dalam melakukan pekerjaan yang repetitif dan tidak membutuhkan proses berpikir kreatif.
Atau AI powered classroom di sebelah sekolah bagi menyediakan laluan
pada pandangan saya kalau kita menyalahgunakan pisau yang sama juga akan mencederakan kita jadi perkara ini adalah perkara yang perlu dilihat untuk memastikan yang bahawa anak
pengintegrasian kecerdasan buatan atau AI dalam sistem pendidikan serta pembangunan.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to our respected lecturer and fellow classmates. Welcome to today's group discussion. We are honored to have all of you with us as we explore one of the most relevant issues in today's education landscape. Our discussion today is entitled, What are the advantages and disadvantages of using artificial intelligence or AI in education? Before we begin, allow me to introduce our panel members. Joining us as panel 1 is Miss Nur Alia Sofia binti Muhammad, a 19 years old student from Institut Pendidikan Guru Kampus Datuk Razali Ismail. Joining us as panel 2 is Miss Nur Ain Shamira binti Zakaria, who is also 19 years old and a student from Institut Pendidikan Guru Kampus Datuk Razali Ismail. As for myself, I will serve as your moderator. Artificial intelligence has become an important part of modern education. Today, students use AI tools such as ChatGPT, Gemini, and Microsoft Copilot to generate ideas, solve problems, and support their learning. While AI has made education more efficient, its growing use has also sparked debates about its impact on students' learning and critical thinking. Are we using AI to enhance learning, or are we allowing AI to replace learning? This question leads us directly to today's discussion. What are the advantages and disadvantages of using artificial intelligence in education? Instead of simply deciding whether AI is good or bad, we hope to critically examine how AI influences student thinking skills, academic integrity, teachers' responsibilities, and the overall quality of education. Without further ado, I would like to invite our first panelist, Ms. Nur Alia Sofia, to share her opening remarks.
Thank you for inviting me, moderator. Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Alia. When people hear the term artificial intelligence, many immediately think about technology replacing humans. However, I believe this perception is too simplistic. From an educational perspective, AI should not be viewed as a replacement for teachers or students. Instead, it should be viewed as a tool that has the potential to reshape the learning experience. For decades, education has depended on textbooks, classroom instruction, and physical learning resources. But today, students can obtain explanation within seconds, simply by asking an AI platform. This represents a significant transformation in the way knowledge is accessed. However, I believe access to information should never be confused with understanding. A student may receive the correct answer within seconds, but unless they understand the reasoning behind that answer, meaningful learning has not taken place. Therefore, the effectiveness of AI does not depend on the sophistication of the technology. Instead, it depends on whether students use AI to develop deeper understanding or merely to complete academic tasks more quickly. In other words, AI has the potential to become either an educational partner or an educational shortcut. Moderator, I think this distinction is important because it influences how we evaluate both the benefits and the risks of AI.
Thank you, Panel 1. Access to information does not always mean understanding. Today, students have unlimited knowledge at their fingertips, but concerns remain about their critical thinking skills. The question is whether AI helps students learn or makes them rely on instant answers. Panel 1. Before we discussing the advantages, do you believe AI is changing the purpose of education itself?
Wow, that's an excellent question. Personally, I don't believe AI changed the purpose of education. The purpose of education remains the same to develop knowledgeable, ethical, and competent individuals. What AI changed is the process of learning. Traditionally, students spend considerable time searching for information. Today, AI reduced that process significantly. As a result, students have more time to analyze, evaluate, and apply knowledge. However, this only happens if students choose to use AI responsibly. If students simply copy AI-generated answers without questioning or reflecting upon them, then education shifts from developing understanding to merely producing assignments. Therefore, I believe AI can either strengthen education or weaken it. The determining factor is not the technology itself, but the mindset of its user. Moderator, that's a very balanced perspective. You seem to suggest that AI is neither inherently beneficial nor harmful. That its educational impact depends largely on how students and teachers choose to integrate it into learning. Panel 2, I would like to bring you into the discussion. Having listened to my perspective, do you agree that AI is simply a tool, or do you think its influence extends much further than that?
Thank you, Sophia, for that interesting question. I agree with you that AI is fundamentally a tool. However, I would argue that AI is not just changing how students learn, it is also changing how students think about learning. Many students today prioritize efficiency. When AI can generate essays, summaries, or solutions within seconds, the temptation to complete tasks quickly often becomes greater than the motivation to truly understand the subject. This is why I believe we should not only evaluate AI based on its capabilities, we must also evaluate its influence on students' attitude, learning habits, and academic responsibility. In other words, the greatest challenge is not technological development. The greatest challenge is ensuring that human development continues alongside technological advancement. That is an interesting point. While panel 1 highlights how AI changed the learning process, panel 2 explains its impact on student attitudes and behavior. This shows that AI in education is not simply about being useful or harmful, but about finding a balance between technology and meaningful learning. Now, let us explore the benefits of AI in education. Panel 1. Please share the advantages of using artificial intelligence in education.
Thank you, moderator. In my opinion, the greatest advantages of AI is its ability to provide personalized learning. In a traditional classroom, teachers often teach a large group of students using the same lesson plan, even though every student has different learning abilities and learning styles. As a result, some students may struggle to keep up while others may feel unchallenged. AI addresses this issue by adapting learning materials according to each student's needs. It analyzes students' strengths and weaknesses before recommending suitable explanations, exercise, and learning activities. For example, a student struggle with algebra, AI platforms such as Honeygo or ChatGPT can provide step-by-step explanation and additional practice questions until the student understands the concept. At the same time, students who have already mastered the topic can move on to more advanced learning activities. Therefore, AI promotes equity rather than equality because it provides support based on students' individual needs instead of treating every learner in exactly the same way.
Thank you, Panel 1. You mentioned that AI promotes personalized learning by meeting students' individual needs. However, some educators argue that this could reduce teacher-student interaction. Do you think AI supports teachers or could it eventually replace some of their roles?
That's a very interesting question. Personally, I do not believe AI can replace teachers because education is more than delivering information. Teachers understand students' emotion, learning motivation, and classroom dynamics, qualities that AI cannot fully replicate. While AI can explain concepts or provide instant feedback, it cannot inspire students, build meaningful relationships, or nurture more moral values. Instead, I believe AI allows teachers to focus on higher order learning. By automating routine tasks such as marking quizzes or preparing simple exercises, teachers have more time to facilitate discussions, encourage collaboration, and develop students' critical thinking skills. Therefore, AI should be viewed as a teaching assistant rather than a replacement for education.
That's an interesting perspective. Besides personalized learning, are there any other advantages that make AI valuable in education?
Certainly. Another important advantage is that AI encourages independent learning through immediate feedback and continuous access to educational support. Traditionally, students might wait several days before receiving feedback from teachers. During that time, misconceptions may remain unresolved. With AI, students receive instant feedback on quizzes, essays, or problem-solving exercises. More importantly, they can ask follow-up questions until they fully understand the topic. For example, a student who is too shy to ask questions during class can privately ask AI to explain the same concept repeatedly without fear of embarrassment. This builds confidence and encourages students to take greater responsibility for their own learning. In the long run, this experience helps students become more self-directed learners, which is one of the key competencies needed in the 21st century.
Thank you to panel 1. You explained that AI encourage independent learning. However, couldn't instant access to answers also make students overly dependent on technology?
I believe the issue issue is not the technology itself, but how students choose to use it. If students simply copy AI-generated answers, dependency will certainly become a problem. However, when AI is used to clarify concepts, explore ideas, or receive constructive feedback, it actually strengthens independent learning. In other words, AI or artificial intelligence should support students' thinking, not replace it. This is why digital literacy is equally important. Students need to learn how to question AI, verify information, and think critically rather than accepting every response as accurate. Therefore, responsible AI usage should become part of modern education.
That's a thoughtful point. Panel 2, you have heard panel 1 arguments. Do you agree that AI mainly strengthens learning, or do you think disadvantages also come with hidden challenges?
I agree with most of Sophia's points because AI has undoubtedly improved accessibility and learning efficiency. However, I believe every advantage also comes with responsibility. For example, while personalized learning helps students learn at their own pace, excessive dependence on AI may reduce opportunities for collaborative learning. Education is not only about acquiring knowledge but also about communicating ideas, solving problems together, and learning from different perspectives. Similarly, although AI provides immediate feedback, students should not rely solely on AI to evaluate their work. Constructive feedback from teachers and peers remains important because it includes emotional understanding, professional judgment, and real-life experience that AI cannot fully provide. Therefore, I believe AI should complement human interaction rather than replace it. When technology and human guidance works together, students can enjoy the benefits of AI while still developing communication skills, empathy, and critical thinking. Thank you, panel 2. Both of you agree the AI offers significant benefits, but its effectiveness ultimately depends on how it is used. This naturally brings us to the other side of today's discussion. While AI creates many opportunities, it also presents several challenges that educators and students cannot ignore. With that, let us move on to our final round. Panel 2, the floor is yours to discuss the disadvantages of using artificial intelligence in education. Thank you, moderator. Although AI has transformed education in many positive ways, I believe one of its greatest disadvantages is students' over-dependence on technology, which may gradually weaken their critical thinking and problem-solving skills. As discussed by panel 1, Sophia, AI provides instant explanation and immediate feedback. While this is undoubtedly beneficial, some students may begin relying on AI to complete tasks instead of understanding the learning process itself. For example, instead of analyzing a literature text or solving a mathematical problem independently, students may simply ask AI to generate the answer. As a result, they obtain the correct response without experiencing the thinking process that develops reasoning and analytical skills. In my opinion, education is not about producing correct answer as quickly as possible. Rather, it is about developing students who are capable of questioning ideas, evaluating evidence, and making informed decisions independently. Therefore, if AI replaces students' thinking instead of supporting it, the quality of learning may gradually decline. Thank you, panel 2. That's an interesting point. However, Couldn't someone argue that students have always depended on technology, from calculators to search engines? What makes AI different from previous technology? I believe the key difference is the level of cognitive assistance provided by AI. Unlike calculator, which only perform calculation, or search engines, which simply provide information, AI is capable of generating complete essays, solving complex problems, and even creating lesson plans. This means AI no longer assists students in finding information. It can actually perform parts of the thinking process on their behalf. If students are not guided properly, they may begin accepting AI-generated responses without questioning their accuracy or credibility. Therefore, digital literacy is no longer just about knowing how to use technology. It also involves evaluating information critical and recognizing that AI can make mistakes. That's a valuable distinction. Beside overdependence, what other challenges should educators be concerned about? Another major concern is academic integrity and ethical responsibility. As AI becomes more sophisticated, students can easily generate essays, reports, and assignments within a minute. While AI can certainly support learning, problems arise when students submit AI-generated work as their own without demonstrating genuine. This not only raises concerns about plagiarism, but also undermines the true purpose of education. For instance, a student may receive an excellent grade for an assignment produced largely by AI. However, during a presentation or examination, the same student may struggle to explain the ideas because the learning process never truly occurred. Therefore, assessment should not focus solely on the final product, but also on the student's ability to explain, justify, and apply their knowledge.
That's a very important observation. If overdependence and academic dishonesty are among the biggest concerns, should school restrict or even ban the use of AI? Personally, I don't think banning AI is the right solution. History has shown that education has always evolved alongside technological advancements. When calculators, computers, and the internet were the first introduced, many people expressed similar concerns. Yet today, they are accepted as essential educational tools. Instead of banning AI, schools should focus on teaching students how to use it responsibly. For example, teachers can design authentic assessments such as debate, oral presentation, reflective journals, and project-based learning. These activities require students to explain their reasoning, defend their opinions, and apply knowledge in real-life situations, skills that cannot simply be generated by AI. At the same time, schools should strengthen students' digital literacy by teaching them how to verify AI-generated information, cite sources appropriately, and recognize ethical boundaries when using AI. In this way, AI becomes a learning partner rather than a shortcut.
Thank you, Panel 2. Panel 1, before we conclude today's discussion, would you like to respond to the recommendation shared by Panel 2?
Thank you, moderator, for the nice idea. I agree with Shamira, panel 2, that responsible AI usage is the key to ensuring meaningful learning. Throughout our discussion, we have highlighted both the opportunities and the risks associated with AI. This shows that the issue is not whether AI is beneficial or harmful, but how educators and students choose to use it. I particularly agree that schools should integrate AI literacy into the curriculum. Students should learn not only how to use AI but also how to question its responses, verify information, and apply their own judgment. Ultimately, AI should enhance human intelligence rather than replace it. When students combine AI with creativity, critical thinking, and ethical responsibility, technologies become a powerful tool for lifelong learning instead of a substitute for genuine understanding.
Thank you, Panel 1 and Panel 2 for your valuable insight. Today, we have discussed both the advantages and disadvantages of artificial intelligence in education. AI provides benefits such as personalized learning, quick feedback, and easier access information. However, we must also consider challenges like overdependence, reduced critical thinking, academic integrity, and ethical issues. Ultimately, AI is neither entirely good nor bad. Its impact depends on how we use it. As future educators, our role is to guide students to use AI wisely, ethically, and critically so that technology supports meaningful learning. With that, we conclude our discussion on what are the advantages and disadvantages of using artificial intelligence in education. Thank you and have a nice day.
Good